Can we get a post-game interview? So what happened? What happened? Yeah, I know, I can see that, but like, what was the thought process?
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. Today I'm in Calgary. I'm here for a week. Today we've got Justin Trudeau throwing a tantrum, blowing a gasket in a Goodyear plant. We've also got Olivia Chow cringe embarrassing herself again. We've got a bunch of other clips here, so let's jump into this. So let's start this off here, posted by Table Salt. June 2020 building permits. Yeah, that's not looking good. We're seeing a drop of numbers across Canada. You look at the biggest ones, Ontario minus 12%, BC minus 23%. Across the board, this is not looking good for Canada. We've got this video here. It shows Trudeau's motorcade, 27 cars strong. Yeah, people not happy. Justin Trudeau is the biggest waste of money ever. 27 cars. How many people are in those vehicles? How many salaries are being paid? Ridiculous. Next up in our top story, we've got Justin Trudeau absolutely blowing a gasket. He's asking about the steelworkers visit that Pierre Poilievre had and putting tariffs on Chinese EVs to match. And he just loses it. He just starts going off.
Last week, steel and aluminum CEOs and opposition leader Pierre Poilievre called for the federal government to match the US's tariffs on China. Why has Canada not moved on this yet?
Well, first of all, it's a bit of a joke that Poilievre is suddenly talking about workers in the auto industry. He has said repeatedly that he wouldn't be making these investments in our auto industry. He wouldn't have invested. He'd be cutting our investments in EVs, in building an extraordinary EV supply chain in Canada, something that we've been doing as a government in partnership with the government of Ontario and others right across the country over the past 4 years in a deliberate strategy. Bring in Volkswagen, bring in Stellantis, invest in Honda, invest in the EV supply chain from mines to manufacturing and recycling. We have been there every step of the way, and the federal Conservatives continue to say they'd cut it all.
Yeah, and that's what we need right now. Some of these plants, these government grants he's given out, they're not panning out. These companies are backing out. They're no longer building electric trucks. They're going back to building gas. It's not panning out, man. It's time to pivot. He should really be pivoting maybe into something else like solar if he really wants to chase this crusade. EVs don't thrive in this country, period, until maybe there's some other technology that works with cold weather. Why would he just dump all of this into this unless he has some sort of financial interest in it? Something stinks here with Trudeau once again.
They don't support it. They don't believe in investing in Canadian workers. So him to suddenly turn around and say, oh, we're worried about EVs, that's baloney. He's looking for a political angle because that's all he does. But in regards to the CEOs and the steel manufacturers and partners in the industry, I can tell you, for the past many months, we, alongside Minister Mary Ng, our Minister of Trade, have been working with stakeholders, working with community groups.
Minister Mary Ng, are we talking about this Minister Mary Ng? Committee puts Liberal minister in hot seat over contracts awarded to her friend? Are we talking about this Mary Ng? Trade minister apologizes for breaking conflict of interest rules. Trudeau's always got the worst, most corrupt people around him. That's the only way he operates. He just has to have the worst slimy rats around him.
Working with international partners on making sure that Canada's EV advantage remains. Canadians have invested in this future, and we're going to make sure that we follow through on it. So Poilievre jumping in front of the parade or trying to is just silly. We have stood up for
Trudeau. Let's be honest here, man. Twinkle toes, buddy. You're the only one jumping in the parade.
Canadian workers in the auto sector. We will continue to stand up for Canadian workers in the auto sector. We will continue to make sure that we're using all necessary tools to drive a greener, cleaner economy, which means great manufacturing jobs here in Canada, more opportunities for Canadians. This is a conversation that we've been having for months, and we will continue to have to make sure these investments we're making that Poilievre would cut are well protected for the future.
I mean, he's given away $44 million to Goodyear to make special tires for EVs. So electric vehicles have heavier bodies on the big battery pack. They need better, thicker tires, and that's what this is basically for. Does Goodyear really need $44 million of taxpayers' money? This is a big multi-billion-dollar corporation. Why not spend that money on a bunch of small businesses across Canada and just lift the whole tide up? Right now, they keep investing in the big ship instead of investing in all the little ships that makes this country. It's just a joke. Just looking at the comments here on the side, like we've got construction halted on $2.7 billion EV battery plant in Ontario. You've got, does this moron know that the EV sales trend line is collapsing and that EV owners are trading in for hybrids and gas? Yeah, there's seeing this a sway back of people kind of trading in their EVs, going more hybrids. There's a comment here I've been thinking about. It says, Trudeau looks like he's unhealthy. I had an uncle with lupus and it looks like this. So Trudeau just looks very gaunt. He looks very skinny. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight. I pointed out before when he was questioned on the beach. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight. I don't know if this is due to stress. Is he going through divorce with Sophie and that is the stressful part? Is it just because everyone in Canada doesn't like this guy because he's a terrible leader? Are we invoking the Emergencies Act and freezing their bank accounts? Or do we only reserve that for when Canadian citizens peacefully protest for their freedoms in Ottawa? So what's to note about this is what they're holding here. It says, long live legal armed resistance to occupation. They're calling for the end of Jewish people in Canada. That's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. They should all be put in jail for even going around chanting that. And in contrast here, we have a very rare sight. It's one single woman with the flag of Israel, and she is being essentially either escorted or protected by 4 police officers. I mean, how can these people feel safe in our streets when you literally have a huge mob of people calling to have these people exterminated? Like, it's ridiculous. Next up, we got Olivia Chow completely embarrassing herself again. This time she's on stage here. There she is. She is just a mess. This woman is not fit to be a mayor. Not a mayor of a large city, not mayor of any city, any town, not even a hamlet. The people of Toronto voted for this. I don't know. We got this one here posted by Naya, which I thought was pretty funny. It says, Twitchy not reading her own posts. So apparently Chrystia Freeland posted this, said, another proof point that our economic plan is working and paying dividends. And then the article she linked says real estate insolvencies in Canada set to surpass levels of global financial crisis. I don't even know what's going on here. I can only imagine Freeland herself posted this and not one of her employees, because I'm guessing one of her employees would have checked that. We've got quite the bizarre clip here. We've got a guy from Jordan, an immigrant to Canada, who's quite upset at the grocery store selling oranges from Israel. This is getting absurd. Oranges from Israel now are being protested.
No, I don't get it.
No
like,
problem.
what are you asking me exactly to do?
Sir, I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
No,
That's fine.
I'm not arguing. I'm asking you, what do you want me to do?
problem.
What are you asking me to do? Like, why are you here? Like, why are you here? Now you don't want to say why you're here?
No, it's because you're just yelling and you're videoing.
I'm not. I'm yelling now?
Yes, correct. you are.
Is this yelling?
I mean, is it yelling?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got like the
So it's very clear that this guy was probably yelling at them and then started recording because he's angry that they're selling oranges from Israel.
As well.
yeah, this is yelling, yeah?
Anyway,
Oh,
we're
wow,
not gonna
okay.
argue. It's fine.
Excellent. So this is the problem, is that I'm yelling. So why are you here? Can you tell me why are you here?
So fast forwarding this, so basically they call the cops on the guy and the cops show up.
Yeah, personal escort.
No worries. If he gets into a car, I'll let you know the license plate.
So he's being escorted out of Superstore for yelling at the workers there. Like, what's wrong with this guy? These people are just trying to do their job and live their lives. They're coming at him for bringing in oranges from Israel. So the cops show up here.
Hey man, so I guess you had some issues inside of there, right?
Yes.
Essentially, we're not involved in any of disagreements between you or your political beliefs. Thing is, this is just not the venue to be doing that. Okay, so they don't want you. They're going to be issuing your trespass notice. They don't want.
These people need to understand what our laws in our country and obey them. We have laws here. You don't get to just invent what you want or how things should be operating here.
Go to other stores. You just
Based on what? I'm sorry.
that's their right. It's a private business.
But I guess this means no more shopping at Superstore.
This guy doesn't want to shop at Superstore by all means, but I mean, this is ridiculous. We've got an incredibly nutty clip here posted by Harrison Faulkner. It basically says protesters from India are threatening the government with retaliation, says following a fire in PEI at the other Indian protest site. If there's any damage, they're basically saying the federal government is going to be accountable for that.
You know what happened last night in PEI? Someone tried to put the tent into the fire as the protester was sleeping in the tent. So we deeply condemn this thing, as we got to know like it was done by some racist bodies or must be done by the government. They were trying to intimidate the protesters, but we are coming strong from Ontario as well and supporting all the PA protests.
We have a message for the racist groups and the Canadian government who think that by this incident they could stop the fight. We are deeply condemning it also, and if they are thinking that they could stop this fight like this, they are completely delusional right now. So our struggle will be continued, and even in Toronto, we will have the protests and everything in their sport.
So if, in the future, if anything like this happens again, and if there is any damage to any PWP holder, then the federal government is going to be accountable for that.
So it appears that somebody set fires to where these guys were sleeping and camping out, protesting. The government's saying they got to go home. Their permits have ended. These guys don't want to go, and they're going to continue the fight. Yet they got to go home. That's just it. So now they're saying any damage is the government is accountable. This is just absolutely bonkers. These guys don't understand the rights or lack of rights they have as a temporary foreign worker or temporary students, whatever these guys are. Only in Trudeau's Canada would we start seeing this. This is a police robot that is driving towards an explosive disposal unit outside City Hall. There you have it. Little robot to go collect some boom booms. Cool technology, but I mean, this is the state of Canada now. They got to use robots to go deal with these kind of problems we never saw in Canada for decades. So that's where that ends. You don't see where it goes. We've got this post here I thought was really interesting. This basically says this guy here, Antoine Moses, a tree planter from Canada, set a new world record by planting 23,060 trees in 24 hours. He's a real environmentalist rather than those who spill milk in supermarket spray paint or plaster mass kill solar panels on prime farmland. When it comes down to it, the activists should be like this guy, not, you know, doing all that stupid stuff. That's got to be the most backbreaking job ever. So Canada needs more people like this guy, planting a whole ton of trees, making our country more green. With the massive influx of people being brought into Canada, we have stuff like this. This guy just passed his trucking license in Brampton. Should it be taken away?
Can we get a post-game interview? So what happened? What happened? Yeah, I know, I can see that, but like, what was the thought process? You know? Wow. Wow, that's like what year is this thing? Probably like a 2020. Oh.
He jammed that semi-truck right in there. It is not going anywhere. Can anyone guess his IQ? Their license comes from a government vending machine. Who's passing these drivers? They should lose their job for being so incompetent. Yeah, I mean, maybe we have more accountability, especially having judges, you know, not putting people in jail when they should be. Next up, we got this one here. I thought was pretty interesting. It says boycott Tim Hortons. As youth unemployment surges, Bloomberg reports Ontario Tim Hortons hired at least 714 temporary foreign workers in 2023, with 92% of the positions listed under holding companies for not bearing franchise's name. Why does Tim Hortons not want to hire Canadians? So we take a look at this. Canada's temporary foreign work program has exploded. Approved positions nearly doubled between 2021 and 2023. Positions approved by the Labor Market Impact Assessment. So goes all the way up to almost 250K here in 2023. And yeah, this is, we know this now. This is becoming quite mainstream media now. If you're growing up, you're a young Canadian, you're not going to be able to get those young Canadian jobs. They're taken by all these people coming in from India. My majority is India or Philippines and China. All these people are coming in, taking all those jobs. So good luck. It's a hard situation. Next up, we got this video here of a guy next to a Model Y, a Tesla Model Y. I don't know if they look like they're equally parked away from the white line. It's just tight. And the dad, whether this guy comes over and keys the car because he's not happy about it. See, looks how tight it is. Looks like the mom or whatever comes in here, gets in the car, and then he comes back and decides to key this Tesla. Now the Tesla, you can see, always has a camera running, I think, in proximity of people coming in. So there he is. He put his key there and just scratched it. He scratched it again. Some more scratching, more scratching. He looks at it. Yep, did a good scratch. Time to go. Buddy, no, that's not how this works. For what? Because you're both equally parked. If you look on the line in the ground here, you know, they're both about a foot away. It's equal distance from the yellow line. This is ridiculous. Just charge this guy and be done with it. Looking at the comments here, what a loser. These people want to be famous. Let's help them, deport them. This one here is interesting. It says the economy is in the crapper combined with impeccable timing of Airbnb ban. Gee, who could have possibly seen this coming? So basically, Kelowna tourism down 50%, primarily due to spike in hotel prices. So they banned Airbnb. There's not enough hotels. The prices are too high. This seems like very much in favor of the hotels. We got Captain Schmuck here in Montreal, another pride parade. He's doing his thing, putting on his big fake smile, big Pride
flag, the rainbow. All right, welcome to Montreal.
I'm Ivy.
Pleasure to see you, Ivy. Let's get a picture. Ridiculous. Oh, yeah. We're in the right place.
Great honor.
Thank you. I'm enjoying Montreal.
Your friendship, your partnership, all the
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's dance music throughout this, but I've used their filter to remove all the music because it's always copyrighted, but that's what the music sounds like, if you were wondering.
Happy Pride!
Just more fake from Justin Trudeau. It is just big, cheesy, fake smile, just fake everything. Yeah, picture, I'm a narcissist. With the absolute demand for having more housing in Canada, we're seeing this, more and more houses, expensive houses, $1.6 million dream home just built with absolute crap quality.
If you get ready to drop $500,000 on a brand new house, you should probably get the outlets to not be loose. That's a beautiful transition that they did between the hardwood and tile.
It's terrible.
I bet my next paycheck that this toilet's loose. And I would be right. That's a nice looking towel rack that they just decided to put a whole bunch of silicone caulk behind to try to get it to stick. Good looking shower stall. But I don't think I've ever seen that much caulk around a shower head. Yes, one of my personal favorites. Whenever they installed part of the tile surround, they didn't even bother to take off the plastic.
That's unbelievable.
Coming around to the exterior of the home, we can literally see behind the brick and see the Cpac vapor barrier. We have a giant void all the way up where the stone veneer meets the brick. This is a good looking porch. If it wasn't warped. And when you run out of Tapcon screws, you can just use putty to attach a spigot to the exterior.
Perfect.
It's like this decided to allow the guys to throw their trash under the deck. You should also not use a wood pallet to support a water heater. This bit is not even attached to the house. It's completely loose. You have a damaged window, and instead of actually just replacing the trim, they just use caulk. And I don't know if you can see it from here, but the hardwood and tile in this area are not perfectly flush. It's about a ½ inch above the hardwood, and on the sides and the corners, it's about 1/4 inch. Coming into the garage, as far as the handrail is concerned, it's entirely too loose. One of my favorite parts is that they installed the garage door, but they didn't even bother connecting the motor to the bracket on the door.
This is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Like, if this is the case, these people should lose their license. It's just, have some rules in place. If you mess up that bad, you get so many demerit points. After so many demerit points, you're out of business. I don't know. It seems like common sense to me. We got this one posted. It says, looks like these guys are finally listening. It only took 3 or 4 warnings from the Bank of Canada.
And when it comes to international students and the postgraduate work permits that comes with them, that's something that's gotten overheated. And it was time to pump the brakes a bit and bring those levels down. We have a number of adjustments that we need to make. The Bank of Canada has signaled as much. We all agree that we don't want to treat these people as vehicles of cheap foreign labor that is disposable. For some of those folks, there should be a proper pathway to permanent residency and indeed citizenship. And for others, the need to get that experience from Canada and return to the country that they came to. We've signaled that in the next 3 years, we want to reduce the levels that are currently at 6.7, 6.8% to 5%. It's going to take a lot of work when you...
These guys implemented this. They know what they're doing. They knew what they're doing the entire time. They have all big corporate buddies. We're not stupid.
Issue a work permit for a 3-year period. You can't just turn off the tap entirely and expect it to go to 0%. It will take some time. So the adjustments right now, Ryan, have to be well done, because otherwise we jeopardize really important sectors of the economy. In an era of food inflation, you want to be very careful in making sure that people have the proper labor to make sure that, and stakeholders have a really important voice in making sure that their industry and economy is protected.
Something to note too here, this is a Real Talk with Ryan Jesperson. This is a liberal-friendly podcast that Justin Trudeau was on, I believe, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I remember I did a video specifically on that podcast. They only go on these podcasts, they know they're not going to get real hard questions. It's just such a cowardly government we have. We look in the comments here. It says, Uber driver yesterday is a mechanical engineer and his wife dentist, 2 years in Canada, still not employed in their field. That's the problem we have here. Really, the Liberals are just trying to back down a little bit to try to show they've changed their ways. They're just going to keep pushing, especially if they get voted in again, they're going to push even further left. What's interesting, that press conference with Justin Trudeau, as soon as Poilievre was mentioned, and it's like, are you going to match the steel tariffs? He just went off. It's like a light switch flicked in his head, and the anger comes back. It's such a pressure point for Justin Trudeau. Pierre Poilievre is the ultimate thorn in his side, and it's really burning that narcissist. I don't know if his weight loss is because he's getting decimated by Poilievre, if it's from his divorce, or if it's just Trudeau knows he's losing.